What's going on, everybody? Strong by Lee, David Lee here, coming at you mid-October morning in New York. It's 80 degrees. The struggle is real. I'm sweating in my sweater. I'm walking my dog uphill and I'm kind of out of breath. But I want to spend the next couple of minutes in this video talking to you about a topic that is all over the place. I get this question all the time from my clients. You go into Google, you throw in a search for how much protein should I be eating? And you'll literally get millions of results, all talking about protein. And that's because we don't really know. There's so much information out there, which leads to so much misinformation, which leads to people wanting to talk about the misinformation and try to give you real information. So this is my attempt at giving you real information. So before we even go into how much protein you should be eating, let's go over what are proteins? Why are they important? What do they do in the body? What kind of effects do they have on your medical and metabolic health? And how are they going to influence your goals, your muscle gain, your fat loss goals, and your getting sexy and strong and bikini body goals, all right? I know it's October, but it's never too early to start getting your bikini body, right? Okay, so then after that, we'll go into how much protein you should be eating, the golden question, and using that framework, we'll kind of outline maybe a baseline plan using high quality animal / vegetarian protein sources. All right, so what are proteins? First and foremost, it is an energy supplying macronutrient. Macronutrient, big nutrient. There are 4 in the food system. There's alcohol. Yep, alcohol supplies 7 calories per gram. Don't use that as a rationale to drink it before and after your workouts because it's just empty and it's been done before but failed miserably. Not by me. Actually, I think I tried a long time ago when I was in Korea. We had some sort of event and I drank a few shots of soju. If you don't know what that is, it's just rice liquor. And then I tried to go out and run a 200 meter and I don't remember what happened after that. So anyways, carbohydrates supply 4 calories per gram. Fats provide 9 calories per gram. Proteins also supply 4 calories per gram. So if you look at a label and you see that a food has 20 grams of protein, it's going to give you 80 calories through protein, right? Other functions, and these are all very, very crucial because proteins are absolutely essential for survival and thriving. Proteins are the backbone. They create hormones and enzymes using a specific stringing via peptide bonds of amino acids. There are 20 individual amino acids found in proteins. They're very, very specific. So even if the structure is off by 1, the protein is going to be either, the function of the protein is either going to be nullified or altered. Okay, so whenever you cook proteins and the shape changes, such as when you cook a steak and the steak goes from raw, soft, wet, and red and what have you, and then it turns brown and hard and chewy, you're denaturing the protein. You're changing the structure of the protein by applying heat to it. And that can also happen in the body. And when there's protein denaturation or proteins are, their structure is altered, you're going to get medical issues. You know, there's a medical issue called phenylketonuria, which means that the body can't break down a protein called phenylalanine. That leads to all sorts of medical problems. And someone who's born with this genetic condition cannot eat phenylalanine. They can. It's incurable and untreatable as well. So, you know, you have a lot of these issues. That's exactly how important protein is. They're the building blocks for muscle. So in the same way that proteins and amino acids are the building blocks for enzymes and hormones, you know, amino acids are stringed together to make muscle tissue. Right? So again, proteins are everywhere in the body, which is why it's so crucial for you to know what proteins are and how they function. So next, you know, how much protein should I be eating? How much protein you should be eating depends on a variety of factors. Your age, okay? Your training status, meaning are you resistance training? Are you a couch potato? Are you a weekend warrior? Are you an elite athlete? All of these things, your training status has a heavy influence on how much protein you should be eating. How much do you weigh? Now, not all weight is created equal. So if you have 2 people who are 200 pounds and one person has 10% body fat, the other person has 30% body fat, the protein needs are going to be different, because muscle tissue is more metabolically active. They're going to have a higher metabolic rate, meaning they need to eat more calories, thus eat more protein calories, right? Where are you along the spectrum of competition? So if you are competing, depending on where you are within that spectrum of competing, your calorie needs might change, and thus your protein needs might change. Now, some of these topics are a little bit more advanced, so for the sake of brevity and the video, we're not going to go into that, but those are basically the finer details of how much protein you should be eating. So to set a baseline, you see a lot of people say, oh, eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Now that the problem there is, like I just said before, not all weight is created equal. So if you have 200-pound dudes or girls or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, let me eat 200 grams of protein, well, one's going to see a lot of benefit from it, the other one isn't, because one is going to one's going to carry a lot more fat tissue than the other. So having a broad general recommendation like that just does not work, because somebody who is overweight doesn't have that much muscle tissue. They're not really resistance training, and they're 200 pounds, and you ask them to eat 200 grams of protein, good luck with that. All right. And if you're somebody who's struggled eating protein, then you'll know how difficult it is to get 200 grams of protein in. Even for someone like me, I find it very difficult to get 200 grams of protein in. So what might be better is figuring out how much lean body mass you have. And the way you figure that out is, first, you got to figure out how much body fat you're carrying. That's going to either require some sort of tool, like a skin fold caliper, or bioelectrical impedance, or just maybe a general estimation. There are pictures out there showing what you look like at certain body fat percentages. After you figure that out and you figure out your percentage, then you subtract how much you weigh, your total weight, with that body fat percentage. Okay. After you do that, then you multiply your lean body mass by anywhere between 0.8 to 1.6. Okay, that'll give you a good rough estimation. So if you have, let's say for example, you have somebody who's 200 pounds, their body fat percentage is 10%. So 10% of 200 is 20, so they have 20 pounds of body fat. Their lean muscle mass is 180, so you'll take 180 and you'll multiply that by 0.8 to 1.6. And I don't have my calculator on me, I'm on video, so I'm not gonna get put on the spot. I'm not really good at this kind of arithmetic. Right, so there we start at that baseline, and that range is given in the event that you need to adjust your numbers, right? So if you need to fudge it up or down, depending on how full you are, depending on how not full you are, or depending on where you are in your training status, that can cover a wide base, okay? There is how much protein you should be eating. Now, protein sources, animal sources, any animal source can be good. Beef, chicken, pork, fish, eggs, one of the best protein sources out there. You have whey protein, you have Greek yogurt. These are all animal and vegetarian sources. Now, vegan sources, you have seitan, you have tofu. People say beans and legumes are a good source of protein, but they're really not, because if you look at them, if you look at their profile, they're actually higher in carbs. But if you're a vegan, you really can't avoid bringing beans into your diet, especially if you want a well-rounded, nutritious diet. I mean, unless you have an issue, breaking down beans. If that's the case, just have some Beano. So anyways, other vegan sources might include, soy is probably usually the biggest one. You have legumes. So a lot of protein sources are just, the vegan sources are kind of escaping me at the moment, but you'll see a bunch of Frankenfoods found in the frozen freezer for catered towards vegans. Right, so next, let's go through a very rough day of protein. So I'll give you me for an example, okay? I'm about 160 pounds. I'm about 8% body fat. My protein needs, because I have a little bit higher carb needs, because I'm always out walking. I've been walking for almost 10 minutes now doing this video. I do this 3 times a day. I walk around, I'm on my feet, I'm up and down, training my clients. Got a couple clients who lift 100 pounds dumbbells, so that's gonna up my protein intake a little bit. And then I also train 3 days a week. So we have all those things. I'm pretty active. I eat about 150 to 170 grams of protein per day. And that's a range because I'm pretty active, I'm pretty lean. So breakfast, usually have like 4 or 5 egg omelet with a few strips of turkey bacon. I use the turkey bacon to give it a little bit of flavor. I'll load it up with veggies, mushrooms, spinach, onions, peppers, all that good stuff. Top it off with some tomato salsa. Okay, that's my protein. That usually gives me about 40 grams of protein. All right. Then my next meal, I'll usually have maybe 6, 7, 8 ounces of chicken thigh, which also supplies me about 40 to 50 grams of protein. Okay, my next meal, I'll usually have a double protein shake, which has about 50 grams of protein. And then my final meal, I'll usually have either fish or steak or chicken or pork in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 grams of protein. So that's enough to cover my protein basis. It gives me enough protein to make sure that I'm supplying my body with the right amount of building blocks to create hormones, enzymes, build muscle, encourage fat loss, and also prevent me from getting hungry during a busy day. So that is my little spiel about how much protein you should be eating, why they're important, what kind of effects they have in your body, right? And where to get some protein sources. Sorry I didn't create a vegetarian or vegan protein diet. If you do have any questions, or if you would like to correspond with me about creating one for you, please just throw a comment down there, or throw me an email, like my page, Clutch Health on Facebook, the link is down, and then we'll get to work. And so if you found this video helpful, if you found my walk also helpful, the leaves are nice and beautiful, please share this. If you found it valuable, share this, help other people, and let's make the world a fitter place. All right, see you later. Bye.